Hi, everyone. Welcome again. Today we have an important topic and we'll get started soon. So let me just get set in here. Thank you for joining me today, especially, it's a snowy day. It was really cold this morning. Well, I just don't like the winter, but I guess this is the beginning, right? So again, welcome to this session. This session is for parents. My name is Claudia Ali, and I am a parent outreach coordinator with the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, also known as ISAC. Again, like I mentioned, this session is for parents, but everyone is welcome. Today, I will be talking about the FSA ID, also known as the studentaid.gov account. But before I begin, I will go over some housekeeping items. As a reminder, this session will be available in our YouTube page. So after the session, it will be available. Share with family, friends, whoever you think may be interested. If you have questions during this session, I encourage you to use the chat in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And then we will take some time to answer those questions. We will also share some resources for you in there. And then if you have questions later, we also have the ISAC College Q&A service, which is a free service where you and your student can send us your question and we'll get your question via text message. And then for those who have not heard about our agency, ISAC is the College Access and Financial Aid Agency here in the state of Illinois that administers financial aid programs to help pay for college. And our mission is to provide Illinois students with information and assistance to help make education beyond high school accessible and affordable. And then, like I said today, it is a very important topic, especially because we are during the FAFSA season, right? And like I mentioned, today we are diving into the FSA ID, also known as the studentaid.gov account. This live event might be a little shorter than the normal 30-minute, but hopefully you find this information informative or helpful if you're in the process of completing your financial aid application. So to begin, I want to go over a little bit about what FAFSA is. I'm sure you have heard about this. So FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. This is the form that students fill out to apply for financial aid programs to help pay for college. It is used to determine eligibility for the different types of financial aid, like grants, work study, or student loans. And the first time a student files a FAFSA is in their high school senior year. And then every year, the student plans to attend college, they have to complete it to be, to check and see if they will be eligible to receive that financial aid. So like I said, the topic for today, it's about the FSA ID. So I'm going to go over, the different aspects, like what it is, why is it important, what do you use that FSA ID for, and so on. So I'm going to start with what the FSA ID is and why it is important. The FSA ID is basically a unique username and password combination that provides basically access to federal student aid systems, right, including the FAFSA. It is used to electronically sign the FAFSA application and make changes to the application if your student needs to make changes. The FSA ID is an important security and privacy method. So it serves as a, like I said, a unique identifier for individuals, in this case, for the students and the parents, if the student is dependent. And it is used to protect sensitive information and prevent, unauthorized access to the FAFSA form and other student aid details. So Parents will need to create their own FSA ID if they are required to provide financial information for the student's FAFSA. For financial purposes, basically a student is considered dependent until the age of 24. The parents will be required to provide parental information. If the student is older than 24 or it is married, then no parental information will be needed. But if the student is married, then the student's spouse information may be required to complete this application. For the purposes of today's session, I will be talking about dependent students. I will be referring to the contributors as the parents and the students. Like I mentioned, for security and privacy reasons, both the student and parents will need to create an FSA ID. This FSA ID is basically just an account, and some people call it studentaid.gov account. I will be sticking with FSA ID, but just know it is the same thing. So regarding which parent creates that account, if both parents are married and file their taxes jointly, only one of the parents is required to create an FSA ID. If the parents are unmarried and file taxes separately, then the two parents have to create an FSA ID account. In the case where parents are separated, the parent who provided the most financial support for the student for the last 12 months will be the one required to create an FSA ID. And then if that one parent is remarried, then they would have to provide, the spouse's information as well. So parents without social security number are also required to create an account. And I have heard, some parents being confused about, the social security number, and sometimes they enter zeros. Sometimes they enter their ITIN instead of a social security number, and this creates a lot of confusion. It causes a lot of issues. But that is not, using zeros or the ITIN is incorrect. But I will try to walk you through the process, even though we don't have any visuals. But hopefully, once you are in the website, creating your username and password, it'll be easier to go through. So for mixed status families where one of the parents have a social security number, that parent should create the FSA ID account just to avoid any issues or problems. So when and how can you create your FSA ID? It is recommended to create an FSA ID at least 3 business days prior to starting a FAFSA form. Because your information needs to be verified. You can start creating your FSA ID now. Again, just make sure to give it some time to get verified, so you have full access to your account. Usually, the FAFSA is available on October 1st, but because the FAFSA was recently changed, it is expected to officially released by December 1st. So like I said, you can start working on your FSA ID if you haven't done it. Sometimes high schools host workshops where all of the students get assistance to create that FSA ID. But you as the parent, if you don't have access to that type of support, you can do it on your own. It is a simple process. And so, like I said, I'm going to try to walk you through the process. To prepare to create your FSA ID, you and your student will need a mobile phone number, an email address, and a social security number. It is required for a student who's creating an FSA ID to have a social security number. If the parent doesn't have a social security number, it is okay. Like I said, there is an option to continue without it, and I will explain a little bit more about that. So to start, you can go to the studentaid.gov website, and we will also share that site in the chat, and select create account, which is on the top corner of your screen on the right side. So you will go to create account. Once you're there, you're going to see that it's a very easy process. Like, it includes 7 different sections, and it usually takes like I want to say from 10 to 15 minutes. And so again, once you are on the create account page, you will get started, and the first section will be entering your personal information. So it's very basic. It is your first and last name, date of birth, and social security number. When completing this section, you want to make sure, to type your first and last name exactly as it appears on your social security card. For instance, if you have 2 last names, that's the way you should enter when you're creating your FSA ID. If it is hyphenated, you should also use the hyphen in between the 2 last names. Just because, like I said, this information is going to get verified, and if there is anything that is different from your social security card, then there is going to be an issue. Again, if the parent doesn't have a social security number, there is an option that reads, "What if I don't have a social security number?" You will click there, and that will give you the option to click on a little box that reads, "I don't have a social security number," and then that will let you move to the next steps. The next section, which is basically step 2 or section 2, is your account information. So there you will basically be creating your account. So you will need to think about your username and password, and you will also enter your email address there. As a note, it is important that parents use their own email address, not the students. Parents might, have an email, or they might not have an email, and they may think that it is okay to use their students. But for this particular case, each person will need their own email, their own phone number, because this is a very unique account that each individual must have. Also, please remind your student not to use their school email when creating their FSA ID, because once they graduate from high school, they will not have access to that email. So I would suggest to create one. If they don't have a different one right now, making sure that it's a professional one. A lot of people use their first and last name as part of their email address. For example, if I use my first and last name, my email would be claudiaali@yahoo.com or at gmail.com. But again, this is just a suggestion. Since this is an application for financial aid, and then you might use the same email for college application, you want your student to be professional, right, with those email addresses. The third step, or the third section, is about providing your contact information, such as your mailing address and your phone number. So basically, those are the only items that are under the third section. And then for the fourth section, it's about your communication preferences, where you'll get to choose how you want to receive communications from federal student aid or from the Department of Education. You want to select either by email or by postal mail. I would suggest to choose the email, since postal mail will take a few days for you to receive whatever notification it is that they're sending. The other thing you can do under step 4 or under this fourth section is to select your language preferences between English or Spanish. And then every time you log into your account, it will be on the language that you selected. For section 5, it's about selecting your challenge questions and answers. These questions and answers are used to get access to your account in case you forgot your username or password. So it is important to remember them. If you're like me, I like to write everything, always making sure to have them in a safe place, right? Again, you don't know when you'll need these questions and answers. Then that will take us to section 6. And this is about reviewing all of the information you have entered. If you made a mistake or you need to change something, there is, this is the place where you can correct or make any changes. You will see the edit button next to each section. And then once everything is correct, once you double check, triple check that everything is correct, you review and agree to the terms and conditions at the bottom of the screen. And then from there, you will continue to the final step. So this final step is about setting up a two-step verification method to protect your account. So here you will be able to verify your phone number and your email. And then for that, the system will create a 6-digit code. And it will be sent to whatever it is that you are verifying, right? So if you are verifying your phone number, the code will be sent via text message to your phone. Or if you are verifying your email, then it will be sent to your email address. Just follow the instructions on the screen that will pop up to verify your mobile number and your email. There will also be an option for, I think it's called Authenticator app. If you want to set it up, there is a third option if you want to. I personally didn't do that option, but the more protection you add to your account, the better, right? Other parents that I have talked to, they have done that option. And again, it's just for protection on your account. So with this verification method, every time you are trying to access your account or the federal student aid website, or not necessarily the website, your account, a security call will be sent to either your mobile phone number via text or your email. And this is just a way to verify that it is actually you who is trying to accessing your account. Again, this is only for protection on your account. Finally, at the end of the two-step verification, the system will also generate a backup code. This backup code consists of letters. I believe I have only seen it like capital letters and a few numbers. And this backup code is used in case you cannot use your phone or your email, you no longer have that phone number or you have no access to that email, then you can use this backup code. Please write this number down, or some people like to take pictures. I personally like to write everything down. I actually have like a little notebook where I have all this important information. And as a suggestion, I would encourage to put all this information together with your taxes because you're going to need your taxes for this FAFSA. It will be the FAFSA 2025-26. You will need your taxes of 2023. So I think this is a good idea to put all this information together because you're going to need it. And then how to use the FSA ID to access the FAFSA. What is the relationship between, the FSA ID account and the FAFSA? So basically, the FSA ID is going to be your account to get into your FAFSA, right? So once the FSA ID is created, again, like I mentioned, give it about 3 business days. And then after that time, it should be completely verified and you or your student can log into the FAFSA form at the FAFSA.gov or studentaid.gov website. When dependent students start their FAFSA, they will enter their, their name. So basically, FAFSA, I want to put it this way. It is not divided, but if you want to see it this way, so there is a section for the student and there is a section for the contributors, for the parents. So once the student starts completing their section, they will then add your personal information, right? Your name, and then your email. And this email would be the same email that you as the parent use to create your own FSA ID. So once once the student send the invite, you will be receiving that invite through your email. And then you will be directed to sign in, into the FAFSA, but then you would use your own FSA ID. You will accept the invitation, and then you will complete your section from the student's FAFSA. So in a way, I see it as a connection. So that invite connects you to the student's FAFSA. And just to remember, these FSA ID will allow you to access and sign the FAFSA electronically as well. What if you have issues with your FSA ID? As any other account, if you forgot your username or password, there's always a way to recover it. You can recover it using the forgot username or password and answer your challenging questions. That's where you might need to remember those questions and answers. If that doesn't work, or for any reason you lock your account, you might want to contact the FSA Information Center. There's a way to get in contact with them via chat or phone number. We will also provide that information for you. If for any reason you don't have access to your email or phone number you use to create your FSA ID account, or don't have your backup code, you might not, there might not be another way to get into your account, but you can submit an account recovery request online, where you will be asked to upload a photo ID to verify that it is you, the owner of that account. So I mean, there are ways to recover your account. It's just where and how to do it. And again, we are providing a few of those resources for you. Finally, like I mentioned, this session is a little short, but I hope it is helpful. But as a security tips for you, just make sure you store your FSA ID credentials securely and not share them with anyone other than your student if it is needed. I didn't share my information with my student, but it all depends, if you need assistance from your student, or they need it for any reason. But again, make sure you don't share with anybody else. Be careful about phishing emails and scams asking for personal information. Just know the Department of Education will never ask for an FSA ID through an email. And then just to give you like a brief overview of the financial aid process. This is kind of like separate from the tips that I just gave you. But the first step is, again, to create your FSA ID, which you can do now. Complete and submit your student's FAFSA. You can start completing it once it is officially released on December 1st. Your student will then receive a financial aid offer. So that's when the FAFSA gets processed. Your student will receive financial aid offers from the colleges that the student listed on the FAFSA and to where he or she was accepted. And then the student will make a decision as far as choosing a school. So this is kind of like the basic process of financial aid. But again, in terms of the FSA ID account, this is all I have today for you. But if you have questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you feel you need more time or more explanation, you can get in contact with us as well via text message. If it is, so I understand that sometimes text messages the conversation through text messages get lost. But I can always schedule a phone call if that's the case. And the phone number to contact us will be shared in the chat as well. Again, remember that number is only for text messages, and from there we can escalate to either schedule a meeting or a phone call. So if you have any questions, again, we have a couple minutes. Okay, I'm going to check. I'm checking the chat and see if there's any other pending question. So on the comment, if parents are not going to provide any financial support, they do not need to get an FSA ID. This is for independent students. So again, like I mentioned, for dependent students, for these students who are under the age of 24 and are not married, they will need to provide parental support, parental information. And so that's when the parents need to create an FSA ID. But let's say your student is married, then you as a parent do not need to create an FSA ID. In this case, it might be, it's going to be the student and probably the spouse. Let's see. So, okay, so I think that is answered. Where is the create account button? So like I said, once you are in the studentaid.gov, on the top right corner, it says create account, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so the question in the chat that it's been answered as well, but for those who are not reading the messages, so the FAFSA application is already available. Is that correct? Yes, it is available, but the Department of Education has announced, it is available now, but the official launch date will be December 1st. So the question, I am married, but my husband declares his taxes jointly with me. Do I have to create my account? So it doesn't matter who creates the account. So the question is, do I have to create my account since this person is a legal mother, he is the stepfather? It doesn't matter who does the taxes. You got since you are both married and you file your taxes jointly, only one person can create an FSA ID. The information for the two parents are going to be included on the FAFSA, but only one can create the FSA ID. Once the information from the taxes are pulled from the IRS, both parents will be in there anyways. Okay, so it is about time. Again, if there was any confusions, if you have any other questions, send us a text message to that number, 847-243-6470. Again, that number is only for text messages. Sometimes I get complaints that we don't answer that line. But again, this is only for text messages. And then we can go from there. We can either, if it is possible to answer those questions via text, fine. If not, we can always schedule a phone call. Or we can also refer you to schedule an appointment with an ISAC core member, which these are recent college graduates who can assist your student either creating your FSA ID or completing the FAFSA, once it's officially released. So again, the question is the FAFSA not available yet? Yes, it is available, but the official launch date will be December 1st. Okay, so this is the end of our time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you on our next session. It will be sometime in December. We are planning to talk about the FAFSA form. So hopefully you can join us again. That number again is 847-243-6470. And then if there's any Spanish speaker on the line who prefers Spanish, is 773-823-0570. Again, 773-823-0570 for Spanish, 847-243-6470 for English. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us.